Hey, what is up? Wow. I'm sure you're watching and you're like, is this your favorite wrestling show? They're like, technically it's 1.5 new faces. Yogi, he's still the new guy, but then we brought in a newer guy, like I said in the last episode for YFWP. Uh, you know, got to grow the brand. You need different perceptions and opinions and the way that people see this wrestling, the sport of wrestling, the entertainment of wrestling, whatever you want to call it. And so I'm here. Greg will be here on Thursday to help us cover all things Royal Rumble and anything we might have missed in AEW and NXT that is happening right now.
Right now.
But I am here with, oh man, if you know them, I know you love them. And if you don't know them, you're going to by the end of this episode. We're going to start with Yogi. How's it, guy? How are you?
It's doing great, man. You know what they say, 2's a tag team, 3 is a faction. And you know I love a good faction.
Let's go.
You know I love a good faction.
Hey.
Everything's going well, man. I'm excited for the Royal Rumble. I am holding back my reservation and fears that Speed and Kai Sanat are going to be entering at 29 and 30, and I might just throw my TV out the window.
Oh, that's what you heard. Okay, well, luckily we don't have to talk about that today because today we are covering Saturday Night Main Event. We're going to preview that and Raw on Netflix. And to help us do that, the new face. Look at this young rambunctious guy right here. Look at him.
That's how I know he in his 20s. That man in his 20s. He hasn't experienced life yet.
This motherfucker thinks that's cute.
Yeah, right. He hasn't experienced crippling debt.
Man, wow.
Oh, B-Flem. How's it going, my brother?
It's going good. I'm happy to be here. Happy to talk a little wrestling. I don't get to talk wrestling a lot. So, you know, it's nice to be here. Nice to be able to talk wrestling with some fellow wrestling fans. And man, we have an exciting weekend ahead of us. But we had an exciting weekend this past weekend too, which we're about to talk about.
Yes, and all in all, with Saturday Night Main Event, I love that it's back. They're doing it their right way. I feel they are doing a great job at embracing the past, you know, with the referee uniforms, the rings, ropes, and even the small narrow walkways that the wrestlers have to go through now. They have found the best parts of the old school wrestling, where all the people who are just nostalgia freaks, they're like, oh yes, this is when wrestling was great. And the best part is they weren't dumb and tried to force Hulk Hogan down our throat. And that's half the reason why I gave Grego today off, because I anytime I mention Hulk Hogan, he's just like, you know what I hate about that motherfucker? And then so we just have to like go 5 minutes with him going in on Hulk Hogan, which is fair. He deserves all of the shit.
He deserves all that. Yeah.
All of it. And yeah, thank goodness. But we got to start. Man, I want to start with the thing that annoyed me the most, which most people probably loved, and it was the way that it ended. The KO and Cody Rhodes contract signing. The Heartbreak Kid came out, and the Heartbreak Grandpa now, I guess that's probably the more accurate way to describe him. Like he came out and he helped facilitate the thing. Out of all, him losing his hat and then him having to fumble because he can't be the Heartbreak Kid and be bald, like honestly, that hurts my heart. It's just like he needs to figure something out, because he does lose a lot of that luster when we can see that he is in fact bald as fuck, and as he should be. That comes with age and everything. But the best Shawn Michaels we know is that gorgeous, beautiful flowing locks. So when we see that that's not there, even though we know it's not there anymore, it's just like, damn, man.
Hey, as long as he's not wrestling no more in Saudi Arabia in that horrible tag team match with Triple H, Undertaker, and Kane, I could care less. Like, it was a good segment though. I will say that. But it was good to see a good sweet chin music, which
Yes.
you never go wrong with those.
Yeah,
Especially
Kevin
and
sells it so
like
well.
kind of adding on to that, how much do we want to bet that it was actually Kevin Owens' idea to take Sweet
Oh,
Chin?
100%. Same way how it was Kevin Owens' idea to wear the Cody Suck Egg shirt. 100%.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Like,
1,000%.
I can't wait to see Cody. I mean, not Cody. I can't wait to see Kevin Owens when he retires because you know he's going to be in like creative.
Oh,
Like,
1,000%.
He's going to be in creative in some way.
Yeah, he he loves wrestling so much, and yes, all of the people do, but you can definitely tell that there's a respect to how things go and how they should be, that he would keep in touch with it. Very Triple H-esque, and because of the fact that except for he came from the indies, so I feel like he has that, that homegrown love where I feel like when you start at the indies, obviously the goal is WWE, whatever, the highest of the high.
Yeah.
But I feel like most indie wrestlers, they know they aren't going to get there. Okay, so did this segment make you more interested in this match in Royal Rumble?
I wouldn't say it did, not because it wasn't a good segment, but because I think we already had all the interest we needed with it. The one thing I will say that is kind of a knock on this segment is that we don't really know what, like last Friday on SmackDown, Nick Aldis was saying, oh, there's an addendum to the contract, which made it seem like there was something more to the match that was going to be added. That wasn't really mentioned again. So that is the one thing where I'm like, you didn't really need to mention that there would be an addendum. Like you can just say there's a contract signing at Saturday Night's Main Event. Yeah. But for what it was a very good segment. I like that they figured out the formula of KO trying to do package power driver. Cody saves whoever it is, and then whoever was about to get power drove gets their lick back. So it was fun in that regard, I would say.
Okay, and Yogi, so you don't have to answer the same question. I will repackage it for you. Did this segment make you believe KO could win, like, anymore? Like, because there's no way he's losing. Like, we're gonna be honest, Cody Rhodes is going to WrestleMania as the champ. So this is and I love KO. KO, he's gotten so close so many times. He had to deal with all the Roman and Bloodlines bullshit, and I feel like he's cooking every single time he comes out on the promo and he talks about how he's been kind of screwed over and unappreciated and all these things. So, and also Cody cheated in Saturday Night Main Event. Like, he used the chair. Sure, he was the one who put it there, but he definitely used the chair. And it's just very frustrating to see someone who loves the game like he does, like Kevin Owens does, to have to deal with all of this BS and the whiny cry Cody babies, and someone like Cody, where if he loses, I could totally see him throwing shit in the back room and like knocking all the food and like trying to start fights with JD McDonough for no reason. Like
see, don't go too more, because now you got me fantasy booking. I don't want to fantasy book my evil Cody storyline yet.
That's fair. Okay, so do you believe KO has a better chance of winning after that segment on Saturday?
No, but I have more belief in now that we'll get psychotic Kevin Owens, which I think is the next segment I want to see of KO. Like the psychotic Kevin Owens, where he just almost like it's a better version of Dean Ambrose in a sense. Like that. I'll look forward to that.
Okay. And I mean, we'll kind of go back to this anyway once we get to Raw, so we'll keep it moving.
Yeah.
Gunther defeated Jey Uso. Nobody in WWE gets his ass kicked like Gunther, because he's so big and you know how it's going to end. He's going to just powerbomb you, fold you up and pin you. But there were legitimately multiple moments before he just finished Jey Uso off. I was like, whoa, is Jey actually about to win this? But
hey,
we know.
On it last week, I said Jey, the best possible outcome is that Jey loses, but he looks strong in this match. And he did.
He looked really, he looked great. And I mean, not getting too ahead of ourselves, but he didn't lose any of his heat on Raw. And it also doesn't hurt coming out with Quavo.
Yeah, no. Especially in Atlanta. Yeah, no.
They brought out we're gonna touch on this when we get to Raw, but they brought out everybody and their mama for that Atlanta show, bro.
They did.
Like Quavo, 2 Chainz, they had Kai Cenat was there. Literally everybody that is anyone in Atlanta was there.
Yeah. They're doing a good job at making it cool. Yeah.
Yeah. Getting back on topic though. My biggest gripe, and this kind of goes into my biggest gripe with Saturday Night's main event, is that either A, you cannot be too afraid to make a significant change if you're putting an event so close to the Royal Rumble, or B, don't put an event like this so close to the Royal Rumble, because I feel like that was a fantastic opportunity for Jey to win the title if you remove the circumstances that he had just declared for the Royal Rumble about 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
So that made the match extremely predictable in that sense, which isn't a problem. It's okay to have a very predictable match. But for someone like Jey Uso, who has been so close, he's had a match like this at least 3 times before where he's been like that close to winning the championship. At that point, it's just like, when are you going to let him have it, you know? Banger match, though.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what I was going to say, because they're getting so upset about Jey Uso, and they're like, he doesn't have the move set and all this other things. And I agree, and it's all just about how you hit it, when you hit it. That's phrasing. I said that. I was like, hey, yo. But he's because there's only so many times you can do the super kick, the Uso splash. Those are all good, but none of them feel heavy enough to knock out a world champion. Like those are moves great for Intercontinental champions, for the USA title. Yeah. But when you get to the best, like, I don't want to see you hitting a spear. That's Roman's thing. We got Bron Breakker, who does a spear way better. We got all these other people where he's taking moves from other people. What is something that is Jey Uso and Jey Uso alone?
Yeah.
And
I think that's my main thing with Jey Uso. Like, it still feels like it feels like WWE hasn't really ripped him and Jimmy apart from being a tag team. Like, they still kind of like want them to still, the possibility is there to bring them back to be a tag team, but they really haven't pulled them apart. You get what I'm saying? Like, and your point is true. Like, I've never really thought about that, but that makes a lot of sense. Like, his finishing moves don't really seem like anything to where it's can really knock out like a heavyweight. Like, you think about like Edge, like when Edge was with Christian, he had a different finishing move. He was packaged differently, and then when he became a main event superstar, then it became the spear and other things like that. So it still feels like WWE is kind of like pulling Jey a little bit back. Like, I'm not saying holding him back, but they're not fully letting him go out and have a different finishing move yet, just in case. Hey, we need to put you back with Jimmy in the tag team, and you and Jimmy finishing moves are still the same. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Okay, well, B-Flem, what do you agree with me? Do you feel like there's something missing with Jey? And if so, what do you think could be the thing that could help him take him? And it's crazy saying take him to the next level, because crowd-wise, he's the hottest in the room. He's basically jacked all of LA Knight's heat. And even the way that LA Knight gets his supporters to like the to the yeet, like it's kind of tough. But yeah, what do you see Jey Uso needing to hit the next level?
I feel like y'all have really encompassed it perfectly. Like he doesn't have I'm gonna sound like a broken record compared to y'all, but he doesn't really have the move that's really his. Like he has he's the biggest draw in the company right now, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Like just in terms of how the crowd reacts to him, he is the biggest one. He's entering through the crowd. He's got everybody hyping him up. He's doing 5-minute entrances where everybody's doing this, getting
for 5 minutes. Yeah,
amazing trap and tricep work.
We're doing cardio,
doing straight cardio, and he's got Michael Cole doing it.
I know, right?
He's got Michael Cole doing it. So it's only a matter of time before Triple H. I think it's only a matter of time before Triple H pulls the trigger and is like, okay, we're putting the title on you. It's time for you to run with it. It's just that moveset, man. He's got moves that are like, oh, when he's like taking over the match and like when his win is about to come or when he's potentially about to win the match. He doesn't have that move that's like iconic and separates it from the rest, like your RKOs, like your attitude adjustments, like that. So I think that's really if he gets that move, I feel like he's like clear because he's already great on the mic. He's already got the entire arena around his back. He just needs that one move in that move set that is completely his.
So I have a question for y'all. And I mean, anyone can answer it. What would be the right finishing move for Jey Uso? Because it has to be something that fit him. Like he can't do like a jackhammer, that doesn't fit him. So what's the finishing move that does fit him? Because he's like hella athletic, but he ain't like he's in between that weird phase where he not like John Cena and RKO big, but he not Rey Mysterio small either. Like he kind of like in between.
And that's the thing because everything
that's why WWE is strong.
I know, and because everything I think of, I feel like it's technically already done in some sort of way. I feel like it has to be off the top rope because it needs to be one of those things where we think he's about to do the Uso splash, but he does something else, and we go, "Whoa, what is that?" But what is that? What does that mean? And like, I feel like the Cody cutter is because Cody has like 4 different moves that he can hit on people, and that like, and then like Mello's move, like it'd be great if he could just jack Mello's move because Mello's.
You know what? Now you think about it, if he does the Uso splash but off the ropes, that could possibly work. But I do like if he could do the version of the Cody cutter, that would be cool as well.
Because that's all I'm thinking of. Like maybe jump over the person and catch their head and pull them down. Like they're standing and they're kind of dizzy, and you can jump. Like it's almost like a super diamond driver type of thing. Yeah. I don't know. Like he's got to figure. He needs something else.
The diamond cutter.
Like you pull in and you step forward.
The Usos had something with the 1D when they had that really long title run.
I know, and I love that they brought that back too. And then they didn't really get a good enough run with that.
Yeah.
Now I'm gonna be stuck on that for a bit. It's just like, what move could he be? Because I've definitely pitched that to people and been like, hey, like what can he be doing? What blah blah.
I'll go diamond cutter. I think that would be.
And a little nod to the past. I just need more from him. Okay, Braun Strowman.
He doing this. Diamond Out of Place was definitely doing this. Like it fits. It fits.
Yeet, and then just and maybe he just jumps like super high in the air. It's almost like an RKO, but the person isn't jumping. It's just he's jumping up in the air, and maybe he can. And see, and that's the thing. It's just like there are too many. That's the problem with wrestling nowadays. I feel like so many moves are similar, and we're seeing people change things up and bring some new stuff, but they're all just medium level moves. We're seeing
maybe an inverted Samoan drop. where instead of dropping him on his back, they drop him on his face.
Actually, that's not bad. Like, because he could just, it just needs to be so. Are you? Because he can't even. I was gonna say maybe he could get some good air on them, but he's not that big of a guy, so he can't really be lifting people up that high to be like a super Samoa drop. Yeah.
I don't know.
Hey, that's great. This is great. Braun Strowman, he technically defeated Jacob Fatu by DQ, but Jacob Fatu destroyed Braun Strowman. Very similar to the previous monster that Braun Strowman got defeated by. But Jacob Fatu does it in a whole other level. Bro was just like drooling all over himself. It's in his beard. And there are so many other wrestlers where you're like, that wouldn't work. But for him specifically, it's like, yes, no, he looks like he's lost his mind. He's a rabid animal. I love his energy. His whole thing is, how do you slowly build him? Because he just feels like the guy who can walk up to Cody right now and be like, your title's mine.
Are we storybooking?
No, we're sticking with this match. How did you feel about it? Were you happy with how it ended? Were you happy with how he squashed Braun Strowman and sent him away?
I think coming out of this match, you need to do two things. One, you need to make sure Braun Strowman can hold up in a match, because you really don't have a giant on the men's side. Yeah. So you need to make sure Braun Strowman can hold up and be well, because he's been out for a while.
And then should be coming back soon, by the way.
Oh yeah, shout out somebody HBCU grad. But two, you need to make sure Jacob Fatu can not only do well in the singles match, but can he come across still as strong and yet almost come out as a babyface? Like, it's weird how the crowd reacts to him.
I know they love him.
They react to him in a way of like he's the good guy. Like, if you go back and just listen to the crowd, it's weird. But yeah, he's doing the most destructive and evil things ever. So I think WWE came out on the right side of it. I do also wonder, it wouldn't have hurt just to give Jacob Fatu the win and then, do the whole segment. Because with a disqualification, it's just kind of just like, all right, well, this could have just been a backstage segment or a promo. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. That aspect, I don't understand why we just DQ'd him. But I mean, I guess you wanted to show how crazy he was.
So B-Flem, did that match leave you wanting more from either of them, or? Well, I mean, like, again, like, would you want to see Braun Strowman, because it ended in a DQ? Braun Strowman, you would think, would want his lick back. So it's like, would you want to see that again?
You can have a small little segment story in the Royal Rumble, but I don't need like a trilogy of matches. We don't need this to go past the Royal Rumble.
Here's where I'm gonna disagree with you here, and here's where I'm gonna do it. I am gonna bring you back to Braun Strowman's feud with Bronson Reed earlier this year.
Okay.
Earlier this past year, where I think if you are going to put over a guy that is going to be a monster, as somebody who will like wreak havoc and take anybody out, Braun Strowman proved he was a perfect guy to do that with that Bronson Reed feud, in my opinion. All three of those matches, or however many matches they were, I think there were like 2 or 3. All of those were bangers, and they were only on Raw. So there's a universe where you can do that, especially with SmackDown being 3 hours now. There is a universe where you can do that on SmackDown for the next like month and a half to legitimize Jacob Fatu. I'm gonna do a little fantasy booking, even though you said we're not doing it. I honestly see. I'm gonna say Jacob Fatu is in the Final 4 on Saturday. I can see Jacob Fatu in the Final 4.
I can see that.
Just because you have such a star-studded lineup in this Royal. This is the most star-studded lineup we've had for the Royal Rumble in a hot minute.
Yes, I'm with you there.
if you want to legitimize Jacob Fatu as a main event talent without putting him in that picture yet, you can put him in the Final Four easily.
And it would make sense. And it would be one of those things you could easily put him in the top 10, like first 10 people out, and he could just run through people. Right? Or even worse, he'd be like 28 and you're just like, oh, he's gonna win. But then someone miraculously takes him out type of vibes. Yeah.
I think the perfect spot for him is like 12. Let him go from like 12 to like 22. Go in that little like 15-minute-ish run. I think that's perfect.
I hate bringing up his name.
Breaking a record for eliminations, to be honest.
Oh, that would make sense, honestly, because he's just such a freak of nature. Yeah, I love that. And speaking of freak of natures, Braun Breaker, or LeBron Breaker, as Gregor likes calling him, LeBron Breaker, because his stupid tan. He defeated Sheamus keep his WWE Intercontinental title. Sheamus is still not able to get all of the belts. The Grand Slam, there we go. He wasn't able to get the Grand Slam. That's definitely a story that they keep telling. And it's almost one of those things. I don't even think I want Sheamus to win
Buffalo Bills. It's time to wrap this story up. Wrap it up. Move Braun on to something else. This ain't it.
At some point, I don't know. I don't know when you do it, but at some point, I think if you're going to keep him on this Intercontinental title chase, you have to do a title versus career match. At some point. Like that's where I think he wins it. I don't necessarily want that to drag out to WrestleMania. Maybe he takes a break between now and then. Just the concept in itself, that's a very good WrestleMania match. I think, I don't know. He's probably in the Rumble like this Saturday. But I think the amount of times he's put on very good matches and lost in Intercontinental title matches, whether it's with Braun Breaker, with Gunther, with Drew McIntyre involved, with Ludwig Kaiser involved, who should also be in that picture, in my opinion. It's you gotta reward him at some point, in my opinion, because he's done too much in those matches to not have it at this point. This was a perfect opportunity to give it to him, and they still didn't. So,
what? Reigns versus Sheamus is already done. Title versus career match against Roman Reigns on Raw.
I'm gonna Roman Reigns' career.
Yeah. Oh, it's
Roman
Reigns'
that was
yes.
That was
when
Vince was committing collusion. I remember that vividly because that was the loudest ever pop for Big Dog Roman Reigns.
It was
when they won that title.
Yeah, and then the other example is Dolph Ziggler versus The Miz. So yeah, it's been, and that was 2016. So it's been a while because that's what I was trying to think. I was like, when was the last title versus career match? No, that'd be great.
10 years ago. No,
and because it would be one of those
SummerSlam kind of match. That feels like a SummerSlam kind of match. Because I mean, granted, SummerSlam is going to 2 nights this year. So maybe like night 1?
Yeah.
That's a good shout. No, that's a good shout. That's a good shout. Okay, for last and Saturday Night Main Event, we got Rhea Ripley defeated Nia Jax. We knew the vibes. She also, like Cody Rhodes, will be going into WrestleMania as the champ. But Nia Jax, she gets better and better. I know a lot of her knock was her wrestling. It was sloppy. It was dangerous, blah, blah, blah. But if you've seen her, she's slimmed down some. She's throwing in new moves. Because of her size, Rhea Ripley was able to like get on the ropes and flip around and do some stuff that she cannot do with nobody else. it's honestly, I just want to climb Nia Jax. So like, I can not say enough positive superlatives about Nia Jax. But what were y'all's thoughts? B-Flem, we'll start with you on the match. Like, how did you feel? Did you enjoy it?
Oh yeah, I enjoyed it. I feel like Nia, in my opinion, Nia was the best main roster women's wrestler last year.
Thank you.
I
Say it louder for the
find it
people in the
hard
back.
to give that title to anyone else. Obviously, Roxanne Perez was insane over in NXT, but I think she's definitely carrying it over to Saturday Night's main event. I think her and Rhea have great chemistry. It did well to legitimize, even though you don't really need to legitimize Rhea's title right now because it's Rhea Ripley. But it didn't slow Nia's momentum down either, I don't think. I do think she should have tried to at least get her title back from Tiffany Stratton because she definitely needs that bump more than Rhea does. But for what it was still a very solid match. Very fun, in my opinion.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm with you. I don't understand why they haven't brought her back into that. But also, we know that they're going to bump into each other again. They're going to bring the heat. And I feel like they're just letting Tiffy have that title. Just walk around with that title. She doesn't have to bother. She doesn't have to fight anybody yet. She can just be Tiffy with the title, and it'd be Tiffy time. So, like, I get it. There are definitely some, because even Braun Breaker, he did a bunch of fights, but after a couple of wins, they've kind of just gotten further and further apart. And I get it, because there's just, WWE has truly, I can't remember the last time they've had so many wrestlers that I actually very much care about. Usually it's one or two on each show, and it's just like everybody that they show, I'm just like, I want to know. Or there will be weeks where someone is missing out, and I'm like, where has this person been? And so it's just, it's beautiful to see.
Yeah,
okay.
That's what you do with good storytelling.
Yeah, right. You actually, and the vibes in this WWE are just positive. They're so positive. Like, you can tell that the locker room, they're having fun. You can tell that they're all vibing so well, and yeah, it's great. Okay, Raw, man. I feel like at least 3 or 4 times during a Raw Netflix, I go, these cameras are so nice. And just like the production value overall has just like skyrocketed, and it's just crazy, because it's just, in the thing, it was when they were doing the Snickers ad, and it was just like Snickers everywhere, but they turned to the Titantron. Is that even still what it's called? My old ass. And there's just lasers everywhere, and and as simple as it seems, but I was just like, man, it feels like a big show every single time on Netflix, and that's just the vibe. And I feel like it's feeding into every other show, and it makes the pay-per-views feel more grand. And I was very worried, because the first show was at Intuit, and Intuit is this giant, mega, super expensive stadium. And Gregor was like, no, they need to do it at Intuit Dome every single week, or a place of that level. And there really aren't that many places. So it's like, how do you keep up that energy when you can't be in giant cities every single week? I think they have done a great job. Even the crowd, because last year there were definitely some shows where I was like, this crowd is shit. So I'm shout out to the crowds. They've done so great this year. Obviously, we're only a month in, but so far, so great.
Yeah, you can really see like Raw is the A show, then it's SmackDown, then the NXT, based on like where they travel. Because it seems like Raw, the trajectory that's going on, is only going to be going to like big cities, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
it's not going to be coming to like your Norfolk, Virginia, or nothing like that, unless you got like the stadium in the film. It seems like SmackDown is going to go more that route, where they hit more of the smaller cities and stuff, and the NXT is just there. But yeah, so far, man, the last few Raws have been really good. It's been roughly like last thing was like 2.5 hours, right? So they've been kind of sticking in that sweet spot.
Yeah, they've been
Yeah,
sticking
2.5
around
hours.
2.5
That's
hours.
been perfect.
Yeah,
Perfect. Because the ads get in the way of a 2 hour, and 2.5 hours it gives. Also, I'm broken now. I was hating all of the ads that first and second week, but now I'm just like, it's whatever. It's cool.
It's
Just do the ads.
regular TV. You'll be fine. But yeah, 2.5 hours seems to be fine because like 3 hours definitely it takes a toll on you. But like 2.5, like you can do enough storytelling mixed with enough wrestling, but you're not overdoing it. I will say this though, it was kind of weird. They ended the show on the Cody Rhodes and KO segment because they're just kind of expecting something to happen, and it was just like both people were not KO, CM Punk, and it was just kind of like, did they mean to have this as the last segment? Like, yeah, but I mean, I saw that it's been a good vibe so far. They started off well.
Yeah. Seth Rollins, he's for the longest. It was Monday Night Rollins, and it's good to see him being able to start the show off. And I like that he was like the first Netflix. I had the most embarrassing loss in my career, which I don't think is true, but I get it. Black eye, swollen bigger than Georgia. Shout out to that. Like, he did a great job at that. And he said Gunther 3 times, and Gunther popped up. Gunther doing his thing. He now seems to be back fully in his just like shit talking mode. Where have you been for the last few months? Gunther said to Rollins, and he called Jey Uso a clown.
Said Seth Rollins in big 2025.
Yeah.
That was so funny.
Yeah, like he's doing a great job at elevating, but also like, we know what we know what he is. He's the ring general. He protects the sanctity of wrestling and of the game, but it's like, what can he do with that personality to seem as grand or not as bland, because he definitely comes off as a robot sometimes.
Yeah. Also, there was a funny one. I don't know. I probably caught it where Logan Paul came out and Seth had his back turned. As soon as the music dropped, Seth was like,
"Who's that?
Who is that?" Gunther like squints roll. He was like, "Oh, it's Logan." It was like neither one of them knew. It was just like, oh yeah, he's back.
No, I thought it was Apollo Crews for a moment, because that beginning part is very much like Apollo Crews's. I don't think it's current, but his old one. I was waiting to hear Apollo, because that's exactly what it sounded like.
That would have been so random.
It would have been, and that's why I was like, Apollo Crews, and then I saw that as Logan Paul, and I was like, oh, yeah, of course. And okay, B-Flem, when let's flip to you. When Logan Paul, he comes in, interrupts Gunther and Seth, and he is getting booed horrendously.
How good of a heel he is! It pisses me off that he's good at wrestling.
And he's grown so much. When he first came, he was getting booed, and you could tell that he very much wanted to get cheered. He has seemed to finally embrace the heel as the resident youth of this pod, and Logan Paul, he's for the youths. Like, what's your thoughts on this man and his ability to wrestle? Because he on multiple occasions he has said, because it went from 1 week that he was retiring from wrestling, and he even said it, and then like 2 weeks later he was like, no, I'm full-time, I'm making this everything so I can be the best wrestler I can be. And it's just like, okay, but it looks like it's a true thing, and it's going to be. So what are your thoughts on Logan Paul being a full-time wrestler?
I despise how much he understands the assignment. I actively hate this man.
Right.
Actively, I am his biggest hater, but I hate how good of a wrestling persona he puts on. It's like he was made for it. So that being said, I don't see him fully committing to full time just because of how much he wants to do. Like he's got his own businesses. He still wants to box, which definitely won't fly as well within WWE because of how much they want to protect their
and
talent.
TKO is MMA, so they're like boxing.
And TKO is MMA,
fuck boxing.
Right. So it's like if he's gonna be a full-time wrestler, he's gonna have to like full commit to it. That being said, if he does full commit to it, I need every single talent in that locker room to bully him to the end of time. I don't want to see him
I need like pure
succeed. I don't want to see him get any momentum. Granted, it's the business, and he gets one of the biggest reactions out of the crowd, so he will get that. But he just the person he is, he doesn't deserve it. Now the wrestler he is, if we separate the person from the wrestler, he may deserve it a little bit.
And again, I hate giving him more credit, but I love a good old-timey insult. And not only did he use Nimrod, he called them Tweedledee and Tweedledum, and I popped hard for both of those. And I was just like, I hate how much I love this. Oh my gosh. Well, but I'm with you. I feel like the best storyline would be someone is always getting in his way from him succeeding somehow, some way, even if it's just like they come in and right before he gets a 3, they come in and disqualify, and he can win through DQ, but he won't win the title. And so like I just think that's how it needs to be. People are gonna hate the New Day, which we'll get to, but they need to hate Logan Paul more, and they need to give him some of that energy. So following that was CM Punk getting told by Sami Zayn, Sami Zayn, who is becoming real edgy lately, he went up to CM Punk and he was like, "Yeah, I heard you talking about me. You said we aren't on the same level, and I agree. We aren't on the same level. One of us are a WrestleMania main eventer." And again, that I like that hits because everybody knows that is the only reason why CM Punk returned is so he can be a WrestleMania main eventer. I know that is the aim to get him to be in the WrestleMania main event. I don't really like. I know we have Paul Heyman in his favor and all this other stuff, and it's CM Punk, but I don't know. But Karrion Kross, I don't hate him anymore. I used to hate that dude. And like his character is great. Like what he has been able to do. And this again goes to the Miz. Like the Miz gets so much hate, but the people that he gives bumps to, the people that he makes serious, even though he's a joke. Like the Miz deserves more respect.
Yeah, I can see why you say you hated Karrion Kross when he first came in, because if you go back and look at like how he was in NXT, how dominant he was there, and then
I wasn't aware of that. I missed
it. And how he got brought up to the main roster and how he's been used ever since. I can definitely understand. If you didn't see him at NXT, this might sound blasphemous to some. Outside of Seth Rollins, he might have had the greatest NXT run as a champion. Like he was dominant. Like he was beating people's ass. But when he got brought up to the main roster, they didn't know what to do with him, and WWE was kind of getting away from the whole spooky shit era, and it kind of hurt him. So now we're back to him doing better stuff.
Yeah, I mean now he's doing the like the psychological, like he's messing with people's brains, and I really like that. And they've done a good job at everybody that he's kind of talked to, he's kind of sent them down a very dark turn, and that also builds to the character of him. And honestly, the best thing that they've done for Karrion is stop putting Scarlett's fine ass next to him, because it's just like, that's all I'm looking at. Like, respectfully, like, I know this is your wife. I know y'all are happily married. There are tons of people in WWE.
And then Crunk froze. So yeah,
Crunk froze.
Yeah. So what Crunk was saying is absolutely true. I think like what do you see from Karrion Kross in the next month or two? Like, do you see him? Nothing.
No. Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal winner.
The Andre the Giant Battle Royale at WrestleMania? Oh man.
No, not at WrestleMania. At WrestleMania SmackDown.
Yes, the WrestleMania SmackDown. Yes, because that's where it's been moved to.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, and so okay, and then Sami Zayn, CM Punk. Yeah, we can keep it moving to the War Raiders versus Dom Mysterio and JD McDonough. Raiders, I like them so much better. What?
I was saying JD smacked the fuck out of his head.
Oh yeah, the yes.
Yeah.
When I definitely wrote that down. Now, I mean, it looked great, and we'll get to JD McDonough because he's another person where all of a sudden I was just like, are you a good wrestler now? Do I like not hate you or don't want to make fun of you all the time? And so it's really good for him. And then the War Raiders, they finally figured out how to make them feel serious. They work much better as biker bros than Vikings and things like that.
Once again, what was Vince McMahon doing? Do not blame. In NXT, the War Raiders were that tag team. Vince McMahon, dumbass, made them the Viking Raiders.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
That's yeah.
Did y'all see JD's injuries, by the way?
No, what did it say?
He broke a couple ribs and punctured a lung on that fall, and he finished that match.
I honestly thought they were just gonna like. I thought they were gonna end the match early.
No, that was a nasty bump.
It was. Yeah. It was.
Like he smacked the shit out of that thing.
He finished that match. I got so much respect for JD.
That's respect, yeah. And he did a lot of like off the top rope things too. Like it wasn't like he just finished through with the match.
Bumps to that midsection too.
Yeah, like that's honestly that's the kind of thing that will make fans be like, "Do I like you?"
Yeah, facts.
That's Triple H torn pec type. Type shit right there. He's about to become a tank.
Honestly, I've been mentioning lately about how I'm noticing a lot of the wrestlers are getting in like the best shape of their lives. Like Jey Uso. Like Jey Uso looks like the best shape of his life. There's still so many wrestlers in themselves that when we get to him, Xavier Woods, like he looks like he's bulked up a bunch and stuff too. Yeah. Like I don't know if because you can only ask so much of these people, but it's like how they all seem to be wanting to get themselves in better shape. Where it's a really cool, it's a respectful thing. Yeah. Fucking Carlito using the apple and the ref not seeing, but there's pieces of apple all over the place. All over the place. And
no, sometimes kayfabe is too strong.
Like you can clearly see it inside your peripheral.
Like it was a giant. Like it wasn't a small little spoon. He went crazy with that. And it's like, and so now I'm supposed to think that this is like the Black Mist. Like even that is
just McAfee was saying something about it. He got you there on the announce table.
Yo, I got a question for y'all. Do y'all feel like Carlito especially, but like the whole LWO like faction thing? Do you just feel like that's like a big miss?
It's not a big miss. It's for what they want to do with it, which is sell t-shirts. It is gangbusters. But I say all the time, actually written right here. Hold on. Bro with the stupid hat and all his ripped clothes in LWO, he does not have the look. Send those losers to TNA.
Yeah, man. I just feel like when they brought back LWO, I was like, oh, they're gonna do LWO versus what was the faction dominant again? The Judgment Day.
Judgment Day?
Yeah, and then it was like, oh no, we're gonna put you on different shows. And then ever since then, nothing else.
I think they tried. I do think they tried to give those guys, because they had a couple of weeks where they were wrestling a lot, like back to back, and he was doing the like launching him off the rope. Like they had cool spots. Like, and that's it. You have cool spots.
They had a WrestleMania match last year. LWO versus
the other
it wasn't Judgment Day, but it was Dom Santos and
I know,
who the fuck else was it?
Hard pass.
Escobar?
Like,
was it Escobar?
No, Santos Escobar wasn't it. Was it just all of Legado?
I know. Oh, yeah.
Legado versus
Legado. Yes.
LWO. I just feel like it just went meh.
Oh yeah, no, they're very mad. Like they're, bro, that hat, like that kills me every single time. I'm like, you, but that match, Rey Mysterio versus Xavier Woods, naturally the lead up to it, where Ludwig and Peter Dunne are talking, and it almost looks like Peter Dunne could potentially be joining Ludwig and Gunther in a new version of Imperium. I don't know, but because on the screen it popped up and it said Ludwig and Peter Dunne, like they were tied together, and that wasn't needed. They don't normally do that, so I thought it was really weird that happened. But I'm kind of okay with that as a tag team if that ends up being a thing. And the New Day comes in, and I don't understand how Ludwig and Peter Dunne are high and mighty. They're too good for them. That kind of rubbed me the wrong way. But then I was back in when they were like, Atlanta's favorite son is here, and Kathy Kelly goes, Braun Breaker? Like, and it's small stuff like that. Like we're starting to see that even the interviewers, they have fun and they're having personality. They're getting that instead of having to be like serious news people. Like she said like 3 people, like Cody Rhodes. She said a bunch of people before they were like, no, him, you know who we're talking about. And she played it off very well. She was able to show off those acting chops, and I'm here for it.
Yeah, that was a good segment. That was.
Yeah, I think to the Ludwig and Pete point, I think the reason why they made him like try to make him seem all high and mighty is because they want to really drive home the point that even the heels do not fuck with what the New Day did to Big E. Big E is the most liked person in the entire WWE roster. Current,
I guess so.
Former, future. Big E is that guy, and you turned your back on him like that. Even the heels wouldn't turn his back on him like that. So that point had to get across. I really enjoy the fact that the New Day are public enemy number 1 to everyone. At this point, I just want to see where this goes, whether Big E comes back or not, who they have them viewed with long term. I feel like that needs to be defined pretty soon here.
Yeah.
No, I'm with you, because again, Xavier Woods takes an L to Rey Mysterio. His family shows up late. They pop up with the New Day suck shirts, which technically that's just
with Lil Yachty.
Right. At first, I was trying to figure out, is that Xavier Woods' little brother? And then
I know that's what I was like. Is that a sibling? I don't know. I was like, oh yeah, that's Yachty.
And the camera work was perfect for it too, because it was like they had it just on his family, and then they kind of panned over Lil Yachty over there holding the shirt and shaking his head.
And it took Dad to I felt so bad for Dad, because you could tell he was so nervous, because he took the longest. And he was ready to cut in the last boat. He was like, I was like, Dad over here struggling to get the shirt.
Day sucks. New Day sucks. I love it. And I love that they're wearing all black, the awful facial hair that Kofi has now. Bro. Oh my gosh. It's all so great. It's all so great. I love it, honestly. And like you said, I hope that it goes somewhere. And is the payoff that they finally learned their lesson and they beg Big E to come back, and since he's the greatest person ever, he welcomes back, and we're all happy and joyful to see New Day back? Or even what I hope, Big E embraces the evil, and now people can really chant New Day sucks, and they don't know how to feel because everybody loves Big E. But that's the best part about making a face a heel, because now they're just like, we loved you. How dare you do that to me? Boo! Honestly, this whole Sami Zayn story, I love Sami Zayn. He announced he wants to win a title in 2025. I'm here for like an underdog story, but we got way too many things cooking now, my boy. Like, your time is gone. I'm sorry.
There are too many people due for a title in 2025. It's kind of crazy. I personally would love to see Sami hold a world title or the WWE Championship, but at the same time, you cannot. I feel like the only title you can do that with is the World Heavyweight title, and you absolutely cannot make the title that fresh a hot potato as it's lining up to be right now, because there's about at least 6 people on the Raw brand alone that could be in line for that title.
Yes.
So this would be the perfect time to bring back the hardcore title and just let them have a run with it. Also, I just love seeing Sami Zayn get, sackboyed around in a ring. Like, that man can take a beautiful bump, and he looks like he's on the verge of death.
Yeah, anytime. He does spell it very well. He does. He sells it very well. And that's what's like, everybody loves to root for him, and we'll be happy to see him get the title. But also, it's just like, how, because also as the champ, you want the champ to be the champ and be strong and stuff. And his whole thing is, oh, he's going to lose. Oh, he's going to lose. Oh, he found out a way to win. And that's, to me, that's not a great look for a champ. So that's the only thing that kind of like worries me about him.
I think that could work, but to B's point, you can't make him, if you're going to make him the champ, it can't be a hot potato thing, because you have to take that storyline like, oh, he's the underdog champ. He's not supposed to be champ. And literally, do y'all remember when Christian became champ?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you remember how it started? Like, he wasn't supposed to be champion, and he's like barely getting through. He's winning new DQs and winning all these weird ways. And then eventually he started like becoming stronger and stronger and stronger. Take that storyline, make that Sami Zayn, and run that. But you cannot have him be a hot potato champion. Like, he has to be like maybe the third person to get it. But yeah.
My big thing is, you just ran this underdog story with Sami last year around the same exact time for the IC title. So I feel like you need something fresh, and like where he isn't necessarily like an underdog, but like if you're gonna make him beat anyone for a world title where you want him to be an underdog, I feel like it has to be Drew McIntyre. Personally.
Well, yeah, because now he's 0-11.
Yeah,
0-11 now against him, and I would like to see that, but also I want to see Drew McIntyre get a good run. And he's also another person that's on that list. Like, it's tough. It's so tough. And we also have the fucking Rock looming around somewhere. Like, and he's gonna get the title eventually. Like, it's a lot. It's a lot. It's very frustrating. Quavo, Jey Uso, that was fun. It was yeeting. I don't really know what's going to come from that. Lyra Valkaria, she announced that she's in the Royal Rumble instead of defending her belt. Like, I know people need to see her in the ring more, because she came out and then I think she got hurt. So she was put away for a while. Now she's back. You see the talent. She is very talented. She the new version of Becky Lynch, because she got the accent and all that other stuff. Yeah, she'll be great. She'll be, and she's also another person who that when she came back. What did you say?
I said her and Becky are gonna cook when Becky comes back.
Yeah.
They gonna cook. That's gonna be fire.
Yeah. Naomi, whew, the Cheetah Girls, their outfit that they wore today. The crowd. Actually, let's just stick with those two for a moment. I enjoy them as a tag team way more than Bianca and Jade, only from a standpoint that they actually feel like a tag team, whereas just Jade and Bianca were two massive, like, superstars who are just so physically dominating that, of course, they were the tag team champions.
Is it just me? Maybe I was the only one hoping for it, but I really was hoping they were going to do the Mega Powers storyline with Bianca and Jade. Like, have them be tag team champs for a while, start on WrestleMania, and then break them up around WrestleMania. But now it seems weird. But yeah, I agree with your point.
I think they were going to do that, but then Jade's actual real life injury messed that stuff up.
Yeah. So, oh, man, that was going to be so perfect. But yeah, like to see her and Naomi, they got some good chemistry together. Like they work well because Naomi is the aerial person, and Bianca's the powerhouse. Where Jade and Bianca were both powerhouses. Kind of. So yeah.
I think there still is an angle where that happens. I
Does
think
it involve Bianca turning heel?
I think it does. But the big thing is, either Naomi or Bianca have to be the one that attacks Jade in kayfabe. 2, if it's Naomi, Bianca has to choose a side there.
Yep.
And then it becomes, does Naomi gaslight Bianca enough to whip on Jade?
I'm not going to lie to you. I low-key hope it is Naomi. And that way we can get a female version of the bloodline, which I've been so long wanting. I just want it.
Yeah. Get Naomi and Nia together. Find a way to get Tamina back in here.
Oh, a female version of the bloodline?
Man.
It would do numbers. I will only turn into wrestling for that.
I did in big 2025. I never expected to hear Tamina. Let her rest.
Yeah, we can pull out for one more match. That's her out here.
Oh man, she last time I saw her, she was not able to hit those super kicks like she used to be able to. Which respect. There's only so much you can do with that. Roman Reigns is a 2K25 cover athlete. Paul Heyman came out and again just fucking tore the stage apart with his promo. That man, I know that's what he has to do. He has to time after time after time do great promos, but it's just he does it, and you just know that he can come out and just say whatever. And I know it's a very planned. He's a very meticulous person, but yeah, he's fantastic. He's someone that you could just give a mic and let him talk.
Yeah, he does not miss whatsoever. He will make something out of nothing at every step of every promo. I will also say, while we're on the topic of 2K25, that Bloodline Edition cover looks insane.
Fire.
It's fire. If you haven't looked at it yet, it's fire. They even included my boy Sammy Uso on that. That was... Man, that is such a good cover. And it really just shows how Roman has lifted up a bunch of different wrestlers in this Bloodline storyline. It's good that they have this commemorated in the game. I hope they do something within it as well as it pertains to the Bloodline.
Did you read it? Did you read what they're doing?
What?
I said, did you read what they're doing in the video game?
No, I didn't.
All right, so they're doing the whole you can go back and replay certain part. You can pretty much replay the entire Bloodline storyline.
Oh, word?
Yeah, but then like they have like like on NBA 2K, you have like the park. So they have the island of relevancy where you can go around the island to different things. So like you can go to like say if you just want to do the Bloodline storyline, you can walk to a part of the Bloodline storyline. Like it's like multiplayer. Like
What?
they took my GM mode and made it online. So like say us three all about WWE 2K, right? And say if we wanted to play like by GM mode together, we could do that. So like you could be the GM of Ross, you could be the GM of SmackDown, I could be the GM of NXT, and we could all like have our own interactive like storyline and stuff like that. Like yeah, it's good. Like yeah, check it out.
Island. Yeah, it's called The Island. That's crazy.
Yeah. So it's gonna be like 2K where you can walk around, interact with people, all that stuff.
Are you spending $130 for the Bloodline edition?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I'll get a poster on my wall.
I will print it off myself and put it in the game slot. Yeah, no, absolutely not.
Oh man. Okay, that's fair. That's fair.
These are behind me.
Like, if our Patreon gets well enough and that becomes a part of it, like I'd be willing to do that. But yeah, I would definitely be like,
game I played more than the regular price run was College Football 25, and that's just because it deserved it.
Oh yeah, no, after how long it's been gone, that's fair. McIntyre, Sami Zayn, we mentioned. Sami Zayn is now 0-11 against McIntyre. McIntyre had to use the ropes to beat him. So this is obviously showing that Sami Zayn is headed towards like where he can actually take on these big bad guys that he will need to in order to win a world championship, a top tier championship. But then he Halulu kicks Cody Rhodes. So now this is twice.
He caught Cody that time.
Yeah.
He caught Cody.
Caught Cody. And Kevin Owens right next to him right after that too.
Yeah, hit him in the chest, like my guy.
Did you beat KO face? KO looked low-key kind of proud.
No, he looked very proud. He walked up slowly to him, and he was just like, yeah. No, I love that. No, that made me super happy. And I really do hope it leads to like I want to see Sami Zayn as a heel win a title. I don't want to see Sami Zayn as a babyface win a title. So I'm kind of here for it, and it kind of leaned towards it because even Seth in their like locker room segment that they had together, he blamed Roman Reigns being a bad guy for why Sami may have kicked him in the face, and I was like, I don't really get that. That feels like reaching, but I do think that was purposeful. So it wouldn't surprise me if he then turns on Roman and all of them, because it's like he needs to do something, and then they also still need to figure out a way to get Roman. I mean, Roman's always going to get cheered, but he's the bad guy. So it's like, how do you get him back on the good side? And it's going to happen. It's going to happen. And then finally, we end with the very abrupt ending. And we kind of talked about it. Again, CM Punk is great on the mic. And we know he can wrestle. He does a great job at telling a story in his wrestling matches. So I do enjoy that. I don't know. It was just because of the fact that I know that he's back and he's like Mr. WWE now, wearing all the suits and stuff like that. He's just not. And I wasn't the biggest like CM Punk person. Like it took me I had to watch all of the CM Punk docs for me to really like be like, oh, okay. I get why people love him the way that he does, but I'm happy to see him back. I love when he's on the mic, but and that's where it goes. But
I gotta hear this. But what is it?
No, that's it. Like I just, but I don't even really have anything.
You might have said it, but I need to hear this again. What was your first time seeing CM Punk?
I think it was. Technically, it was the previous company that he was at, because I don't. I dropped out of WWE for about 2000. in
So you didn't see
2009.
any of his first one in WWE?
No, I mean I've watched it. I told you I've done the docs. I've rewatched the matches and stuff like that. So like I get I now respect him
for it. You won't lie for it.
No,
which I understand because Vince McMahon was killing the show. Like it was horribly written. Man, the moment I knew CM Punk was that guy, when he did, I watched the pipe bomb live, and then he went to Chicago for Money in the Bank and won the title and walked off with the title, like into the crowd. And I was like, oh yeah, he that guy. But in order for you to leave WWE with the title, if Vince McMahon okay it, you got to be that guy.
Mm-hmm.
In my eyes, CM Punk can do no wrong. I am CM Punk 10 toes down.
Yeah, and I mean, and I'm not team. Or I get.
You just didn't see the beauty of it.
But no, I mean, I've seen the doc like live, watching the stuff back.
It's not the same. You can watch it, doc. It's not the same unless you was there in 2014. You see that man walk through that crowd and
I guess
and blow that kiss to Vince McMahon.
I guess. No, again, that's how he earned my respect. Like it was like, are people putting too much on him? And then I watched the docs. I rewatched all of the because once he came back, they brought all of the episodes back or all of his segments and stuff back. So then I watched it. And I was like, oh, I really do get it. And all the people, all the love that they show towards him, I respect him. And I just like it's just like you're old and what like I appreciate what you can do, but again, I want to look at the way that where wrestling is headed. It's heading to a beautiful place, and he's going to need that WrestleMania main event. He has to get that checked off. It's going to happen. I get that, but also it's just like, are you?
I think the real time for it to happen was last year with him and Seth.
Yes,
that was the perfect time for it to happen, and then unfortunately we got the injury. So now WWE is in this place where they're like, it's almost go back to your POV about like there's too many people in the title game shot, and you're just like, okay, does CM Punk truly need a title shot? Because there's certain wrestlers where it's like, I don't need to put a title on it to make you more or less.
He does though. He does. He
You
needs to lift that title. At least just one more time. Just one more time. He needs to win and be able to lift it up at this iteration, so they can show the old CM Punk and the new CM Punk and be like, he's still here, he's still got it type of vibe. Like we know he does, and I'm trying to make it sound like, but I get, but again, with there's so many, I don't see how it happens this year, but then I don't know.
I don't think you need to put the title shot on because in my opinion, I think you can still do him and Seth at WrestleMania again. Because granted, we saw it one time on.
Dang, now Seth isn't winning a title either. Okay, B-Flem, what are your thoughts?
I don't need either one of them to win a title this year. I don't need that. I really need Rock and Roman at WrestleMania to make my soul happy. Or I need some kind of bloodline.
That's not happening for a couple years. Here's my thing. Obviously, Lord. For people that don't know, I'm born and raised in the city of Chicago.
Oh, okay.
So,
oh God.
I'm still trying to sort through like a list of who I would consider on the short list for like born and raised Chicagoans that would be on like a Mount Rushmore. But like you got Derrick Rose, you got Chief Keef, and then you also got CM Punk somewhere in there in the mix. This guy CM Punk is loved by every single Chicagoan known to man. At least if you know wrestling and you're from Chicago, you are a CM Punk fan.
Yo, that Punk at War Games?
War Game? I was there. I was in the
building. Oh, were you?
That's
cool.
I've ever been to. I was in the building. I saw him return. That was a surreal experience. All this to say, CM Punk does not have that many years left in wrestling. Mm-hmm. And he's still competing at the top and still telling very good stories both on the mic and on the mat. I feel like I don't think he needs the title. I think his WrestleMania main event that he is going to get does need the title.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think he necessarily needs to win it. I just think he needs to be involved in some capacity. I don't think that happened. I don't know if it happens. This Royal Rumble is unpredictable. We don't know what's going to happen here. We don't know what's going to happen at an Elimination Chamber. We don't know who's going to main event. Well, we know Cody's going to main event WrestleMania. We don't know who's going to main event night 1, night 2, whatever. So it could happen this year. If he has the legs for it, it could happen next year. I think it will happen at some point. And I think he deserves it, to be honest, because he's proved he's been the best on the mic. Last night, the promo battle with Cody Rhodes, even though it was kind of a repeat of what happened the year before, they still found a way to keep it fresh. They still found a way to keep people engaged with it. Which bravo to Cody for balancing like 3 to 4 different ops at once. But this is the most interesting Royal Rumble coming up because of the different storylines, but also specifically because CM Punk kind of needs to make some noise in it if he's going to get his WrestleMania main event anytime soon.
I have a question for you. I know we're going to do a Royal Rumble show, but do you think Paul Heyman comes doing his favor at the Royal Rumble for CM Punk?
I don't see how it can, because that favor obviously implies that he screws over Roman Reigns somehow.
I think he will, and I will tell you on Thursday how.
Oh, cliffhanger! I love that.
I will say I don't think it comes through at the Royal Rumble. I think it comes through in the case that CM Punk loses at the Royal Rumble.
So almost like a back door for him.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I can see it as a Money in the Bank. Like, that's his Money in the Bank, not it's a Money in the Bank. Like, if it's a triple threat, or if it's a one-on-one, he makes it a triple threat. That's how I think he gets his WrestleMania main event. And especially if he doesn't have to win it. If you guys, I'm happy. Hey, we agree there at least. I don't think actually, we don't agree, because I do think he needs to win it. And it's just for the optics. Like, the optics of him lifting the title. He can get screwed over like a moment later. He doesn't need to have it long, because obviously the more
you could pay out the Drew storyline. A year later, Drew screws over CM Punk when he wins the title. You could do that. You could bring that back.
I mean, whoever wins the Money in the Bank, that would be fair. Whoever, we'll talk about that in the Royal Rumble. That'd be great. Okay, cool. Hey, this is nice. Look at this nice little banter, little fresh thoughts and ideas, and people I can bounce ideas off of. It's nice. Well, B-Flem, please plug yourself. Let people know where they can find you and the things that you do.
Ooh, okay. Well, I go by it in B-Flem. Proud to be included on here. It was fun talking wrestling. I don't just talk wrestling, though. Within the Shades of Blue Network, I talk German soccer on 50 Plus Donor. We stream over on Twitch and on YouTube, and there are podcasts available on listening platforms. I believe Spotify, Apple Music, all that stuff. Outside of that, I also stream on my own on Twitch, twitch.tv /B__Flem. I do variety streaming. Right now, I have fallen down the Marvel Rivals pipeline, just as a lot of people have. So if you want to see some prime Coke and Dagger gameplay, you can head over there. Otherwise, I'm happy to be here once again, and appreciate the invite for coming on.
What's going on, everyone? You can follow me on Blue Sky at that guy Yogi, where you'll get an array of hilarious tweets of my random thoughts. Not tweet skeets, whatever they're called nowadays.
Yeah.
But Since Black History is coming up and Donald Trump's had to get rid of everything, make sure you go follow Can I Kick It FC, which is the only Black History soccer podcast, because starting up Saturday, we'll be doing our Black History post that we do every year. And this year we're going to be focusing on Black soccer content creators. So we're going to be highlighting one per day. And we also have an episode coming out very soon. I want to say next Monday. We're going to be looking at JJ Okocha's transfer history and how crazy all that saga was. And did he actually have a twin brother that might have signed off on his papers? Who knows? And then if you want more lower league soccer stuff, make sure you go follow Walker 90 and River City 93.
Yeah, let's go. And follow your favorite wrestling podcast at YFW Podcast on. We're only on Blue Sky, so find that, and then Shades of Blue NW on any social media app that we are on. We're on a few. Find us there. And me, I'm just me. It is what it is. But if you can't be good, be bad.
Keep booking them